All right, welcome to the DFS_PhD show. This is a special one on contest selection and the satellite strategy. So kind of tactics and strategy together. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, somebody's got to win that money. Might as well be us, right, guys? But first of all, at the very top of our forever videos, we've got to make it clear. We're only playing with money that we can afford to lose all the time, lose all of it. That's how you play a good GPP lineup, is you must be willing to lose all of it a fair amount of the time. So you have some sort of like allocation and you're comfortable to lose it if it comes up. You're not pushing it. You're not chasing like in poker or whatever. If you have a loss, you don't just run out there and do it the next day. If you have trouble, I set up, even though I don't really have a problem with gambling, I have limits. Honestly, at this point, I need to change them probably because I won so much money that I might feel like doing something some weekend for fun and need to upload more than $1,000 or download. Yeah, it's mostly deposit limits that I'm running into where I'm like, well, I want to throw in 1,000 for the 120 this year. But anyway, so make sure you're gambling responsibly, only with money you can afford to lose, and that's the core of all of this, and it's the core of our contest selection videos because we want to use our bankroll and our allocation effectively. So first of all, you should know that people who play more win more. So that's the very highly experienced players win 97% of winnings. So that means 500 more contests in the last year. So we are winning a lot of the money when we have experience. That's the main thing. Also, most people are not net winners for the last 30 days or the last 7 days, which is also true for me. So it doesn't necessarily matter in the overall, So here's the top 1%. Yeah, basically there's like the Pareto's law for a DraftKings that the top 1% are winning 47% of the winnings. Top 5% are winning 50% of the winnings. Which for me, I gotta say my perspective on this is always different. I went to MIT and Caltech and like got my PhD there and stuff. And so whenever I see a top 5%, I'm like, oh, so it's not super selective. Top 10% easy for me, right? Like, so I always am like, great, I'll be getting 50% of the winnings, which has been true. But it's only true if you establish a good process. And I do want you to understand it's more going to be losing than winning. That's why we establish at the very beginning responsible gambling rules. You're not doing your monthly rent on a night stupid DFS, especially in the middle of the summer where it's baseball or whatever. But any night, it should never be more than like 1 or 2% of your allocation, which itself is money you're going to be comfortable losing. So that's how we wind up at a comfortable place where we have a huge spike day. It doesn't just all go away later. We can have fun for all summer and stuff. Yeah, the average versus median, it goes to show that, yeah, on average, people lose money playing DraftKings. You should know that up front. I'm giving you the best tactics, the ones that I use, and that I have won money. Granted, the amount I'm winning is completely ridiculous. You cannot expect this number of ROI. It's outrageous, 130%. I do not expect this number of ROI. That's me for all sports for this year as a result of 1, 2, 3 big wins. That's all it takes, a few big wins. And every couple months you get a big win if you start playing more and more contests, it turns out. So that's what contest selection is about. So let's do contest selection, I guess. Contest selection and satellite strategy are tied together, so I decided to make them one video. So the satellite strategy is how I won the $100,000 / I learned it from someone else / it's just good business. Because DraftKings wants to fill these big competitions that they're advertising on TV and stuff, so they make them juicy competitions, but then they know they're going to have trouble filling them all the way. And so that means they run a zillion qualifiers or satellites to that. And a lot of these satellites are at positive expected value. So when you look at my contest for the day, upcoming, you can just go through and aside from the MLB stuff, which is all negative expected value, we're offsetting that with the satellite strategy, where if we look at number one, MLB showdowns, MLB short slates, those are places you can also find overlay. I'm looking at entries out of the maximum. But if you go down, probably I thought this would be by contest. That's what I was expecting this to have been hashed by. So then up at the top, you'll see all my best balls. I got like 75 best ball tickets through the satellite strategy, right? So, you will win them too, because nobody really wants to play that much best ball on DraftKings, and DraftKings knows it, and they want to fill this competition to save face in public. So we're taking advantage of capitalism to fill these competitions, and we wind up with, over time, let's do the fun thing over here. The reason we do the satellite strategy, if we go satellite category satellite, haven't done this in a while. Hope it still works out. 45%. Yeah, it hasn't been that great recently. Like last year, if I did last year, 82%. Long-term average over many years for me has been 60% from the satellite strategy. So just, I mean, like, think about investment products. Where are you getting 60% in a year? Nuts, incredible. It's worth investing in for me, and it's why I do the satellite strategy. Now, granted, you see, you can only put so much in, right? This is this year, halfway through the year, $14,000. This is about the most you can get because you only are entering things that are positive expected value, and you're nickeling them and you're diming them. But at the end of the day, there's only so many competitions you can max out that way. And it works out to about $10,000 a year. But when you have $10,000 bankroll free from DraftKings every year, you can do some big things with it. So here's what we're doing with it currently. I just draw some attention to the current results of the satellite strategy for me personally. This Tournament of Champions ticket. They still don't know what it is, which also means they haven't determined the structure of the event, which also means I haven't gotten the advance on the live final, which will probably be coming $1,000, $2,000, something like that. I've been thinking, like, I don't know for sure the structure. Otherwise, I was thinking of doing a giveaway. You'll hear about that if they announce a structure, / if I do expect to get a couple $1,000s from the past win later, which, I mean, beyond the expected value of the event, just the minimum value of the event. And then all these best ball tickets, I've been telling you, I got 30 of these left. It's a juicy time to do best ball right now. I am making this video on August 7th. So around this time every year is a great time to do best ball. People just wildly reacting to camp news, which is stupid. In a couple weeks in, if you give the same practice news, people are gonna be like, "Oh, okay, a start in practice. Is he on the injury report? No, okay, who cares?" It's, that's still how you should react to the news. It's still nonsense. I'm still going after Queen of the Court qualifiers because bum 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 bum. Where is that? Queen of the Court. Oh, there it is. Queen of the Court finals. So that's my first live final ticket. This is technically a semi-final ticket, but Queen of the Court, I love it. So another place you'll find value is not just satellites to regular events like the big millies and stuff. Game one of the finals, that's how I won the actual $100,000 Haywood Highsmith. But you'll find that satellites to qualifiers, because these, I gotta tell you, these events, you don't look at them when you have a small bankroll, but as you get to the bigger bankrolls, you're looking for these positive EV events. A lot of them are these live events, like tennis live final, WNBA live final, MLB live final, but those aren't as high expected value unless you find a weird route to a qualifier. So I've got a couple weird routes to various qualifiers, mostly just WNBA to WNBA right now. But I'll let you know if I see other stuff, other availability. This is such a juicy. There's like 3 million up top for this baseball live final, so I'm gonna take shots even if it's not positive expected value, because $3 million. Same reason I'm putting money up on best ball and underdog. It's not like I think there's really strategy there. It's just that $3 million is a lot of $1 million, and I think I know as much as anybody does about best ball. Guy don't get hurt. Hope it happened. It's not like I'm saying it with simple English. I don't think best ball is a real thing. No offense to the best ball people, but I think your whole thing is a joke. And I think there's just no testing period. We've had like 6 best balls, So like other slates, we get hundreds every year or whatever. And so I'm sure I know what to do in a showdown. I'm not sure what I know how to do at all in best ball. You know what I mean? Anyway. So, okay. I've talked a little about, contest selection. So within your bankroll, then you got to see, how am I maxing out expected value? For me, I'm maxing out expected value by maxing out every single positive expected value MLB Showdown, MLB Short Slate, and Madden Sims, because all those always have positive expected value. I'm getting between 50 to 200% depending on the thing, depending on the specific qualifier it is, or satellite, I guess. And it happens every day, 6 times a day with the Sims. It happens about the same amount with the short slates. So it's just a good way to make a quick buck. And by adding in the MLB, that just, again, you can see what it's done. It increases the volume you're able to play. So this year, let's see, if I'm averaging about 40% on about 30,000, what is that? Shouldn't do this live without making sure it's good. $12,000. Yeah, it's a little bit more than an average year because I got a little more volume, because I'm making sure I do every single positive expected value thing because I have all the money. So all the money, $100,000. The guy talking big noise. I fully expect to win $1 million. That's fine. So there's a lot of good satellites to the $100. These aren't positive expected value, but I just want an excuse to blow $100. So that's why I'm doing those. a lot of these satellites to the UFC right now. Cross sports are a lot of times where you'll find the best ones, like satellites to the UFC from WNBA. Not a lot of crossover there. Only extreme nerds like me are very interested in what is kind of a similar game. No, that's like tennis and UFC, I guess, are more similar. But it's a fun game, and I like getting different, and that's will be one of our videos coming up in this series after we do some more, like, knowing your numbers, improving your process stuff, is how do we get unique in these competitions that happen all the time, the competitions we can know for sure we're going to reach value long term, because long term happens really fast. Not best ball. We're not living 100,000 years here, guys. We're not going to see 100,000 best balls. Am I going to see 100,000 showdown slates? I'd have to do the math on it. Probably not either. I'm not going to live 1,000 years unless I'm like Methuselah or something. All right, so that's pretty much what I got to say about the contest selection, satellite strategy. Oh, I guess I could give you my all-time. So knowing your numbers, I always say that. So let's do all-time. My all-time satellite strategy, 53%. So that's roughly what you can expect. That's worked out for me. All-time, yeah, I guess I haven't been going that hard at it as long as I thought. Just last year, I guess, started really ramping it up. I thought it'd been 10,000 for a few years. I guess it was a different, different things have been hitting over like 2 years ago and stuff. It was averaged to 10,000, but across different sites that have now shut down. So that's fun. All right, and that's why we're always poaching value, because sometimes that value is coming from investors. And please don't shut down DraftKings before my Tournament of Champions ticket, which is worth like $30,000 next February. That is a little bit of a futures thing, right? When you have a ticket, that's part of what you're doing is tying up your money. You got to understand, is it worth the upside? 50% for like a few weeks in general, fine. $30,000 for next February, I don't feel as positively about. All right, guys, remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, somebody's got to win this money. Get ready for the next video on knowing your numbers coming sometime later this week.